Everyone can say that he saw a UFO, and usually no one takes it seriously. However, when these words fall from the lips of former soldiers, including the highest ranks, it is not so easy to ignore them. In today's episode, I invite you to the list of 10 former soldiers who claim that UFO exists, but the governments are hiding it. Number 10. Gordon Cooper. An American Air Force pilot, engineer, and Mercury program astronaut, claimed that he first saw a UFO while flying over Germany in 1951 in his autobiography. He also described an incident from 1957 at Edwards Air Force Base where his team witnessed the landing of a strangely shaped object resembling a flying saucer, which made no sound during either landing or takeoff. Number 9. Edgar Mitchell, commander of the U.S. Navy, the sixth man to walk on the moon, was one of the few astronauts to reveal information about unidentified flying objects he had seen during his space missions. He claimed to be 90% certain that many of the thousands of such objects reported since the 1940s belonged to visitors from other planets. In 2008, during a radio interview, he stated that he had been in military and intelligence circles that were fully aware that we had been visited. Number 8. David Grush, a former Air Force officer and intelligence service official, stated during a 2023 U.S. congressional hearing that the government, in collaboration with private aerospace companies, is conducting highly classified special access programs focused on recovering and reverse engineering spacecraft of non-human origin and the pilots found within them. Number 7. Robert Salas, a former U.S. Air Force captain, stated that in 1967, while serving as the commander of an underground launch control center at Malmstrom Air Force Base, a UFO deactivated nuclear missiles. This occurred just minutes after a call from a terrified security guard reporting the presence of an unidentified flying object hovering above the base's main gate. A similar incident was reported to have taken place 8 days earlier at another complex on the base, where a complete missile shutdown also occurred following the sighting of a UFO. Number 6. Charles Halt, the former deputy base commander at RAF Bentwaters, and James Peniston, a former U.S. Air Force sergeant, are two key figures in one of the most famous UFO incidents in the UK, known as the Rendlesham Forest Incident, often referred to as Britain's Roswell. In 1980, in the mentioned forest, they observed flashing lights and objects in the sky that moved in ways difficult to explain. Peniston even claimed to have touched a landed object with a metallic surface covered in symbols resembling hieroglyphs, an experience he described in his book. Number 5. Haimesht, former head of the Israeli space program, stated in a 2020 interview that the governments of Israel and the United States have been cooperating for years with a so-called Galactic Federation of Alien Civilizations. As part of this collaboration, there is said to be an underground base on Mars where both extraterrestrial beings and American astronauts are working together. Esht also claimed that U.S. President Donald Trump was aware of the existence of aliens and was even close to publicly revealing this information, but the Galactic Federation allegedly intervened, fearing mass hysteria. Number 4. Clifford Stone, a former U.S. Army sergeant, claimed that during his service, he participated in secret operations to recover wreckage of unidentified flying objects and had contact with extraterrestrial beings. In his accounts, Stone described being involved in over 12 UFO recovery missions, during which he encountered various forms of extraterrestrial life. He asserted that the U.S. government maintained a catalog containing information on as many as 57 different species of extraterrestrials with whom he had come into contact. Number 3. Donna Hare, a former NASA employee, claimed that during her work as a graphic designer, she witnessed practices of photo retouching by NASA before the images were made publicly available. According to Hare, photographic technicians would remove unidentified flying objects from official photographs before they were released to the public. In one interview, she mentioned that a technician showed her a photo depicting a UFO that was intended to be removed from the final version of the photograph. Number 2. Carl Wolf, a former Air Force technician, claimed that while working at NASA, he saw photographs of structures on the far side of the moon. This took place in 1965 when he was called to assist with equipment repairs in a photographic laboratory operated by the National Security Agency. While working in the darkroom, one of the technicians showed him a mosaic of images taken by the Lunar Orbiter spacecraft depicting the far side of the moon, which is not visible from Earth, in these photographs. Wolf claimed to have seen various structures, such as towers, domes, and radar antennas, which he believed were not built by humans. Number 1. Philip Corso, a former lieutenant colonel in the United States Army, claimed in his book The Day After Roswell that after the 1947 Roswell incident, where an alien spacecraft supposedly crashed, he worked on technologies recovered from the event. Corso maintained that, as the head of the Foreign Technology Desk at the Pentagon, he had access to artifacts from the crash, oversaw their research, and supervised the integration of some of these technologies into civilian industries. According to Corso, the technologies recovered from the UFO craft were used to develop various modern inventions, including fiber optics, microprocessors, and lasers. Okay, with that recovered accent, like a ball from the neighbor's yard, we conclude today's episode. Make sure you've seen the previous episodes on Earth of Facts for now. I bid you farewell. See you in the next videos on the channel. Goodbye.